Welcome to Behind the Rhyme. I'm your host, Charlie Mack. I'm happy that everybody come out to see us tonight and just witness a wonderful event. New York, we love hip-hop of New York. And first up, is one of my brothers to support. That's Kwame, my brother Kwame. What's up, Kwame?
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you?
What's happening? How was it, being a part of the Hip Hop Love New York? How was that for you?
I think it was dope. I think, I think that it's good to see, on one end, it's good to see, like, I've been doing this breakfast jam where I've been bringing all these hip hop artists in. So it's good to see people taking from like that platform and bringing it to other levels. So I thought that was just a dope thing altogether, bringing these hip hop artists together. That was real dope. And then for the cause, even better than that, just the cause of having us come out, having us help support the frontline essential workers in New York, because you know just as much as I do, New York is getting hit heavy with this COVID crisis. So to see all of us come out in force together, show up and give people something to watch and something to organize behind, I think is just real dope.
Good. Do you have any family that's been stricken by COVID?
I have lost. I'm up to 8 at this point. I've lost 8 people that I know personally. Nobody in immediate family, but I'm talking about like one of my best friend's father. A family, extended family member lost two uncles within a 5-day period. Our hip hop family, Fred the Godson, passed today. And that makes 9 people that I know. A friend of mine's grandfather. Things like that. So, and I'm saying all this to say, DJ Lance from Brooklyn, another extended music family member from Philly, my boy Big Bob, that was my dude, man. We used to, man. We had so many adventures together, man. That's like, a part of my fabric. So, and I'm saying all these different people because they were all different ages.
Yes.
You understand? So people
not
think
70, not 70, not 80, not 90. These were young guys. Hey, listen, I want to bring in 2 more of your brothers.
Okay.
I want to bring in here from Kid and Play, and I want to bring in Benny Boom.
Okay.
Yo.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
What up? Yo, Kid, what's up?
So we were just talking about our family and friends that have been stricken by the COVID-19. So Kwame was just filling me in with some of his friends and his family members that have actually been stricken with it. I don't know if y'all have people that I have about 6 people that were close to me. I don't know if y'all had been as well, but we have people that y'all know stricken by COVID-19.
We have quite a couple. My aunt just got out of the hospital in Philly, and one of my frat brothers had it really bad. He's a trainer, and he got really sick. He got over it. Another brother of mine, frat brother of mine, he passed away. He's the first cop in Philly to die from the disease last week. So it's just been tough, man. It's tough, and they're not telling us everything either, So that's the bad part,
Yeah. No, Kwame was saying, most of these people that he know of, they weren't north of 50, right?
Right.
So it just all depends. Actually, me and Kid have a mutual friend that passed from it recently. So
that's right. Yeah. You talking about Digger, huh?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. One of the OGs from our neighborhood in Queens, and to be honest, I believe that's the only person personally that I know that has succumbed to it. But I mean, I still got plenty of family in New York, and they're on they're doing that thing every day. One of my daughters still lives there, and her mother, and so they're fighting the good fight every day. But it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of I'm out here in California, and Kwame could probably speak to this too. It's a different vibe out here. It's just situated different. The response, I believe, was different, and I think that that's why maybe they've been doing a little bit better out here, and then just more spread out here. People back east, everybody on top of one another. You know, it's hard to
it's hard
to get that distance. You know.
Yes.
Oh, what's up,
Hey,
people?
listen, I want to welcome Lil Cease into
Peace.
the room.
Peace.
Yo,
Peace,
peace,
what up?
everybody? What's up, y'all?
Hey, Cease,
What up,
Cease, you got
What's
a
up,
little bit more light? You got a little bit more light on you?
Yep.
I want to see my brother, you know what I mean?
Can you see me?
Yeah. Now you need.
It's putting a shadow on you. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. What's up, man? Legends in here, man. KWAME,
What up, kid?
Play, Benny Boom,
What up, Cease?
Charlie Mack. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing,
What
man?
up?
Hey, listen, we have to bring an esteemed group of people together that I love and I respect. I mean, you know, we got everybody in here. We got north of 25 years in, easily.
No doubt.
Easily.
Definitely.
25.
There's a lot of lessons in here. You know what I mean? Especially
You
for
know
me.
Cease? You know Cease?
Say that again.
I said there's a lot of
You know Lil
lessons
Cease?
in here.
Do I
met
know
before?
Cease? Oh, that's my.
No, I'm saying, have y'all met? Have y'all met?
No. So here's the story. So Charlie know because Charlie know me since I was a teenager. I'm from Philly, but when I moved to New York, I moved over to right off of Caesar's Block, right on Washington and Fulton, and I fit right in there. You know, so
Now,
Steve,
yeah.
So
Hang out in my public school park, you know?
yeah.
I
Steve
used to
was like,
do
"You
that.
didn't go to school with us?" I'm like, "No, I'm from out of town."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was ill, you know, when I saw him
Yeah.
doing what he was doing, you know, it was like I seen that growth. I seen where he came from, you know.
Yeah.
He from Philly, but I thought he came from Brooklyn.
He thought I was like the nerd that just stayed in the house.
Yeah, you know, but you was in there putting that work in, you know what I mean, to become what you are today, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man. And me and Cease chopped it up a lot. We actually flew on a plane back from the ABFF when the Pop movie came out.
Hell yeah, and I just saw it that weekend with Big Mom.
Yeah, with Wallace, and we had a nice talk. So it was very interesting.
Yo, it sounds like some kids is putting in work in the background. Some kids are putting in work.
I apologize.
Listen, Benny, let me tell you something. Benny is notorious. His family is definitely present. Hey, listen, we got to welcome my brother, Duane Shake Martin, in the building too.
Hey,
Duane
what
Martin.
up?
What's up, Kings?
What's going on?
All three of y'all in California.
I'm probably the fucking oldest, so I'm a dinosaur. I was trying to log in. I'm looking at a blank screen. Like,
Well, I was doing it for a while
waiting
too.
for the
Don't feel bad,
interview.
dog. I don't feel bad. I was doing the same shit, man. It's something totally new for me, man. It's really new for me.
So Shake, do you know Lil Cease? Have y'all met each other before?
I've never met Lil Cease, man.
No, I never met him before, but he had some property down there though on Underhill before. You know, in my own neighborhood, Dr. Hill used to be down there. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Underhill. I had some historical brownstones on Underhill and Prospect Place.
Yeah. You know that word spread around. I live like 4 blocks from there, where I used to live at.
Oh, that's what's up.
So you know everybody, the talk of the town. So that's why I feel like I met you. You know what I mean? So salute, my brother.
Oh, that's what's up.
So Shake, what I was posing to the room, and I want to pose it to you and Lil Cease. Do y'all have anybody in New York that actually been stricken by COVID-19?
Me? Nah, but you heard what happened to Fred the Godson. You know,
Yes.
You know what I mean? R.I.P. to Fred, and that's probably was like the closest one that I really like. That I actually knew and encountered with. You know what I mean? Did work with, and just to find out that he passed from that. I mean, that was a real reality check, especially for like rap artists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was NBA, entertainers and actors getting affected with it. But now that shit, like that was like an affection to the streets. This is a rap.
Yeah.
So that's letting you know it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this shit ain't no joke. He passed away from that because he suffered from asthma. You know what I mean? So just his immune system was weak, and that took effect and took his life, man. You know what I mean? So that was just like a real reality check for the quote unquote hood guys, street guys, or whatever they want to call us. It's like, okay, let's take more caution to it. Stop thinking it's a hoax and stop thinking it's a conspiracy theory. Understand that no matter what you think of it, people are dying from it. It's real.
My high school teammate Reggie Houston, shout out to Reg. He's been working for Con Ed for like 30 something years. And, he's in the trenches. He's on the front line. So you go in, 14th Street and FDR Drive, that whole situation underneath the train station, like all of that is so like it's a breeding ground for like germs to like travel around, but he's coming through it right now, so he's gotten through the tough part.
And two, if anybody knows anybody that's locked up, that's that's
it's
major.
even worse. It's major right there. Yeah, that's a fact. Because they ain't got the proper things that we can get out here. You know what I mean? It's crazy. They stuck into that prison, and they got to basically just take what they give you. You have no control over your life, right? In that prison system, you know what I mean? I was thinking about doing a GoFundMe to try to invest some money to get some masks and treatment for people in prison, for kids that's in group homes. Don't get the proper things. Like, we don't think about that. We're thinking about our elderlies, of course. We're thinking about the young generation, but it's people that's trapped away that have no type of options of how to treat themselves, and we got to think about them too.
And I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. So we to this day, Brownsville has the highest concentrated amount of projects in the world.
Yes.
So we got Van Dyke, we got Tilden, we got Brownsville houses, Riverdale,
Marcus Garvey
Plaza, Marcus Garvey, Langston Hughes.
Yeah, it's not the projects in Brownsville. That's all it is.
And the thing about the projects is when you get in the elevator, they say that the virus can stay in the elevator for 24 hours. So people are getting in the elevator, breathing, and they're riding up 13 stories, 10 stories, 9 stories in that little area. And it's just easy, and everybody's touching everything, so it's easy to catch the virus. They're more susceptible to catching the virus. So I'm like, hey, if you can hold your breath while you're in the elevator, do it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a trap. And you can't not take the elevator. Your grandmother can't not take the elevators with the groceries.
Yeah, it's a fact. That's why people are supposed to take cautions no matter what, man. I'm not invincible from nothing. You know what I mean? So every day I throw my gloves on. I don't care if I got to throw them on 3-4 times a day if I walk outside. I'm putting it on. I'm putting my mask on. Take the proper measurements just to be careful. You know what I mean? Like, because you can affect other people. It ain't about you. You could be young and your immune system could be very strong, but you may have to be around your moms every day, your auntie, your grandmother.
Right.
And they immune system.
Now you said what happened to Fred Godson. It ain't just your mom and your aunt, your grandmother. It's your homies too.
He was only 35 years old, man. You know what I mean?
Is everybody in New York? Kwame, you in New York? Benny?
No.
I'm in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn too.
Me and Kid.
Kid, where are you? LA?
I'm in West Hollywood. I'm in West Hollywood. I stay out here.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
Can we welcome Lil Mama?
Lil Mama, what up?
Lil Mama, what's up? What's good?
How y'all doing?
What's up?
Are you in New York or you in LA?
I'm in New York.
We were.
You have any members of friends that have been stricken by COVID-19, Mama?
No, my grandmother actually, she wasn't feeling well recently, and I just went to the house to help her, and I think that keeping the immune system up is the key. Like, you got to do it as a family instead of trying to send people to the hospital and stuff like that, because I think like regular things is happening and people are calling it COVID, like that. So we nipped that in the bud early. She's good.
She's good. Great.
Blessings.
I'll tell y'all real quick. I actually had to do a performance today at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. They do like live streaming with the comedians up there. It was myself, Craig Robinson, my man T-Rex, and there's no audience. Like there's no audience, and I rolled up with the mask on, everything. I didn't do comedy but it was just weird. I mean, after every comedian, you had to, wipe it down, and it's always weird performing for nobody. But this is the new normal right now. This is the new normal right now.
Yeah.
We have to figure it out.
Physically in the building, y'all couldn't be on there together. Wasn't no audience inside the club. No, there was no. They just advertised on social media or what have you, so that people could watch it on IG or on Facebook and whatnot. And that's one way. One of my hats is a comedian hat, and and then the other hat is a rapper hat. All these things that as everybody here can attest to, things have gotten shut down. So you just trying to stick and move.
and you know, think on your feet and try to figure out what the next step is and how you can still move forward, being yourself, and you know, contributing your art, and you know, finding a way to get compensated for it. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, so this is where we at now. So
speaking of that, Kwame, you did an amazing job DJing last week. I'm saying on Behind the Rum. We got great
thank you.
As well as your Instagram, show that you put down. You got an amazing show too. So it's a one, like everybody performs one song, right?
Yeah. So what we do is called the One Song Breakfast Jam. Like once a month. At this point, we're on a second month of lockdown, and I just bring in different hip hop artists that come in. Started out with just classic hip hop, but I open the door for anybody to rock, and they come in and they just rock one song. And they just break out. And the thing is, and in between that, I'm spinning records. But I think it's just about uplifting people and letting people know that, we stuck at home just like you. You know what I'm saying? And just giving those couple of hours of enjoyment of just pure, uncut, classic hip hop was the whole thing behind it. And like what Kid was saying, this is going to be the new normal. You know how when an artist, we make money, we may get a home, we get whatever. Sometimes people put a studio in their house or stuff like that. With this new norm, people are going to have to start learning audio-visual techniques and having a setup in their crib just for audio-visual, just for virtual performances and things like this. We're creating the new future. And like, for example, look at 9/11, right? It took one day and one event to change a whole generation. We're on month number 2. So imagine how things are going to be so different after the dust settles on this. And things like this show and the things that we're doing on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, we're creating that new paradigm now.
Right. Yeah, we're living it right now. Like we're doing the new wave right now. This is what's about to start. This is what's about to start happening. And, us that came from the 90s, we have to learn how to adapt to this because the younger generation already know how to deal with this technology, with the iPad.
Right. Aren't you?
The laptop, the phones. We're trying to learn. We're adapting to this right now because this is about to be our new life.
Look, I don't know about y'all.
Once the virus is over, we're still going to be doing these things.
Yep.
We're still going to be doing this after the virus is done.
Yep.
We're just in new life get created right in front of our face. We're actually
I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of my kids laughing at me.
Oh, please.
Because I don't know how to do shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I get? I get. Like I don't even like, you know what I'm saying? And that's words. Sometimes that's words. I'm like, how you do this? How you do that? And you know what I mean? My kids like,
yeah. I mean, well, generation, they moving so fast. I got siblings that's like 14. My sisters is 16, 15. Like, so they moving so fast. But this is like the conduit because my brother was saying something very interesting, and he was saying that like hip hop is really coming back because some of the shows that played before this show, and just like how everybody's going live, like Mack and DJ D Nice, and just bringing that soul to the new generation too. It's certain music that the younger generation don't know about. Certain, morals, values that younger people may not have, but now that we're being forced to connect, it's like a conduit so that each one could teach one. The children could show us, how fast things are moving, and we can show them like how to keep your morals and integrity while you do it.
Which is a great balance.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that you wanted to put Nipsey in All Eyes on Me. What happened with that?
It's interesting because when I first met Nipsey in 2006 or 5, something like that, he was young. He was still a teenager, and I met him at a house party that Big U was having, a birthday party actually for his youngest son, and I just could not stop. In my brain, I was like, is this Snoop's son? Like, it was just crazy, just his personality and everything. And then we just, we maintained a friendship from then. And of course he did, started acting. He did the movie with Gilly and Ving Rhames and stuff like that. So when we went to the casting process, you know, it was like, man, we got to get Nip. And I think at the time, man, you know, and I understand it too, he had been given that Snoop stigma a lot, you know. So I understand it that he didn't want to be that.
He didn't want to live in there. Right.
He didn't want to live in it, and I get it. You know, I would have loved to have had him, but I definitely understood it. And so when we finally got a chance to talk about it, he was like, "Come on, big homie." You know, he said, "Man, I can't be Snoop all the time, man. Everybody, you know." So I got it. You know, I understood it. You know, rest in peace to Nipsey, man.
Yeah,
So Cease and Duane, Cease and Duane, both of y'all. Of course, Cease, you with Biggie, and then Duane, you actually work with Pac. What do you think their mindset would be today? Both of them, both Big and Pac. You first, Cease.
I mean, well, Big and Pac was both night and day. You know, I think we all know what Pac would have been doing. You know, I think he exposed himself to who he was as soon as he came out as an artist. You know what I'm saying? He was all about the people. He was really about the struggle. You know what I'm saying?
He would be 50 now, though. It's been about 25 years, right? So he'd be 50 years old.
I think
right?
Pac still would have been. I think he still would have been on front line leading a song right now. Like, you know how you got some rappers that be stepping up to the plate. You know, going in them offices and standing in front of them buildings with the people. Something that a lot of rappers is scared to do. I wasn't afraid to do that type of stuff. He wasn't afraid to go out there and speak how he felt. He was very vocal. He was very opinionated. He was who he was. He wasn't afraid to be that. And I think if he was here, we would have been backing him because that's already who he was. So just imagine how strong he would have been in this day and time. Imagine if Big and him had a laptop and an iPhone in their time. A lot of things would be different because they were the ones we were, you know, that we were following. You know what I'm saying? They were the ones that was leading the pack at that time. You know, you know, that type of thing. You know, and I think Biggie was the same way. I think as an artist, he would have exposed people's talent more because Big was all about the music. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear him, you heard a little bit of everybody in it because we study hip hop. I listened to so much stuff from sitting around him. You know, I dug and I dug and I dug, and that's why he was so dope and so creative because he was a student, man. You have to do your homework to learn. You have to sit and take time to learn things. We're quarantining right now, learning so much about ourselves right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good thing that's coming out of this. I always was taught to take the good out of bad situations, and we're so dope if you give us time. We've been creating so many things. If you give a black person some time, we can come up with some shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, since when did we ever sit down this long like this so you get to enjoy your family, your friends, and because we all have no choice. Like Kwame said, we all stuck in one place. So how can we continue to make things work? You know what I mean? So those are the good things that come out of that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just thought as a musician, I think Big would have still kept the plateau going with just authentic music. I think he still been here. He probably would have still been doing them in and out verses like Hov do. Hov don't do a lot of albums, but he'll jump on certain verses just to, you know, for the love of the sport, because you know he still love it. He don't have to rap if he don't want to, but it's just the love he has for it. He just can't escape it. And I think Big would have been in that same position, just still pushing the culture, and it would have still been really about bars and music. I mean, even though it's coming back now, but I think that would have still been solid if they both were able.
What about you, Shay?
Oh, Pac? I
Yeah.
mean, I think we're all in agreement. You know, I think Pac would have been the people's champ. I think he would have had. I mean, with social media, can you imagine how big this cat would have been? Like, Pac would have sold 10 million, 20 million records. He would have been up for an Oscar. He would have been a prominent actor with like the voice of like Malcolm X. Like, it's ridiculous what Pac could have been during this time, you know. And you know, it's crazy because you know you mourn over that idea sometimes. Like I always think about just having, you know, Pac before Pac's first album, he used to have Thanksgiving dinner at my house. So Jada and Pac was tight, and we all were just, you know, we were in LA, so it was all we had. So it was kind of like that's what we did. And just, you know, knowing watch him rise and watch him become who he was and really what he was thinking, and not and for the time to run out, like you kind of like how everybody's feeling about Nipsey right now. If you times that by 1,000,000, that's what we lost. Like he already had roots. Nipsey didn't have roots yet, but he was on his way. But Pac just had so much more ground, and he left us so much material. And I tell you, it's really interesting, man. You know who reminds me of Pac a lot, and this is gonna be really shocking to a lot of people. The only other person I met that's like Pac is Nick Cannon. Like Nick Cannon his work ethic is similar to Pac. Like he's putting out so much material. Like he's working against the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was filming Above the Rim in New York, we'd have a 6 a.m. call time. Pac would show up in the van, pulling up in the car, jump in the van with a cassette tape of what he just wrote and play it all the way up to 155th. So we would hear all of the new stuff that he just finished in the studio that night. He's in the van with us, going to work. Like this is every day that he's working. And he's just piling up all this content. You know what I mean? Like he knew something.
Right.
Yo, can I I think we're all kind of privileged to have been part of this, this whole hip hop, experience. And I think sometimes it's and I was going to speak to Benny about that. Like, why is it we always seem to have to lose some people on the way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and in a weird way, doesn't that have to happen? Like sometimes bad things have to happen for better things to happen, or you know what I'm saying? Because if Pac and Biggie don't die so young and so tragically,
right?
Then you know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? It's because we froze them in time like that. So they'll always be strong and they'll always be defiant. And we didn't see them in their 40s and 50s when they might have sold out. Who knows? But that's not how they left us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Benny, these images, just same like James Dean died young. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm thinking, having known Pac especially, like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it almost seems like this hip hop road, it almost has to have tragedy in it.
Well, it's just a reflection of it's a reflection of us as Black people. And I'm not just going to say African American because I'm talking African American, Caribbean, Afro Latino, everything. That's just our experience of being taken and transported to this hemisphere, whether it's North America, South America, and all the things that we went through, and what they did to separate us, right? And then for us to find each other somehow, and it's just crazy. And so when we come together, and it's just unfortunate that we tend to look at ourselves as our own worst enemy all the time, and it just I just hate it. Even with Pop Smoke, I didn't know Pop Smoke, but I was at the Complex Con at Long Beach this past thing, and he was up on the stage performing, right? And I just remember watching him up there, and the crowd kind of wasn't with him. And I've been to 1,000 hip hop shows, and especially when cats are early in the game, and he's from New York, and he's trying to figure it out, and then he's like tripping, but you in LA, and they don't kind of understand quite why you from New York. They don't get it. Right. So I took my phone out and I filmed it. And I filmed it because I said, I know I'm going to come across this brother one day, and I want to show him this and say, look, I've been on stage with KRS-One or what, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen guys in Buster. I've seen guys tear it down.
Yeah.
You got to know your audience. I just wanted to build with the guy because I really liked him, and then for him to be taken away from us like that, it was just tragic. It was just very, very tragic and useless at 20 years old. I have a son that's 20 years old.
Right.
So I'm just in my brain. I'm just like, I can't even conceive of that, you know. So it was just tragic, and then it's just I hate it. You know, I hate that we have to.
It's sad, man. It's
I hate
sad
that we have to do that, man.
That's our reality check on life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you know, my thing had froze when Kid was talking, but the thing about life is this is how we learn how to be better. You know, we won't know what good is if we don't see somebody be bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like other people sacrifice for us to live and for us to learn how to be like that live experience type of thing.
I think Caesar's breaking up. If I can jump in for a second, what I think what everybody's saying also, it's like pressure makes diamonds, and throughout our whole history as transplanted Africans, that's how I put it. Throughout our whole history, we've been put under pressure, and we've been put under all these mitigating circumstances that we came out of it 10 times greater, whether it was slavery, whether it was Reconstruction, whether it, civil rights movement, all these things. And this, what we're going through, this lockdown that we're going through is just a smaller version of that pressure. And it's so amazing to see something that Little Mama said that you said a couple of minutes ago. I wanted to touch on real quick. Last Behind the Rhyme, when everybody was talking about the COVID crisis and everything like that, I was watching. I did the DJ set, but I was also watching the feed, especially on Twitch. And anybody knows a lot about Twitch. It's a lot of younger people, maybe not African American most of the time, and from other countries. And so as the feed was going, people were making their little comments. Some were being slick, some were learning. But as it was going and as I was playing music, especially with the music, all these classic hip hop records were going, and kids started going, "What song is that?" Then somebody else would jump in. "Oh, that's Stetsasonic. Oh, I never heard of Stetsasonic." And then so the lessons that we were talking and the music that was being played, like you said, Lil Mama, it was an each one teach one moment.
Yeah.
These kids were jumping on and they were learning stuff they probably would have never heard before. So this is like the pressure makes diamond moment for all of us, man. I just wanted to make that statement.
Right. I also something that what you're talking about everybody. I feel like with this era too, it's this great thing that's happening with sound, because I too went to something that Pop Smoke did. I went to his album release or his listening party for his album. And when I went there that day, I heard his music so differently, because before all I heard was the street stuff, the killing, the this, the that, and the third. And I was just like, why y'all listening to that at first? And then I was just like, nah, I like this song. And then when I went to his album listening party, I was like, yo, this kid is really bringing the dance scene back to Brooklyn. Like the way they moving, the way they aggressive with each other in that realm. We need to get our aggression. Like y'all touched on our culture, being African, having that descent. I'm wild. I have a part of me where I just want to dance and I just want to let my energy out when I go to that place.
Not you, no.
So it's like to see them.
Shocker.
Right. So to see them come in that place and to have that moment and to share that energy, I was like, this is beautiful. The only other part to that is like, Charlie, like how when we come to Philly, how we do. We come out, we party, we have a good time, but we go to those prisons and we talk to those young people. We get in there and we really do the work. And it's like sometimes you got to pull a young person by their hoodie. You got to pull them by that hood and be like, come here, let me talk to you for a second. I know, you're making the music and everything like that, but be careful, move a little smarter and give them insight, because a lot of young men don't have their father, as a resource growing up. A lot of them don't have uncles that's telling them. So if you can't do it in this time or in any time, you should do it, and I do the same thing for young women. But I just feel like my voice, I could speak to our men but most times men want to hear from men because they feel like that's who they are. You
know? Yo, but Shorty smoking wild, smoking cess, drinking beer, and they trying to hear what I'm kicking in his ear.
It'd be like
hey, listen, I want to welcome my brother Jadakiss in the room too. Welcome my brother Jadakiss in the room.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Peace. Leo, what up? Mack. Boom.
What up, baby?
What up, man?
Peace.
Y'all know that's my twin. That's my twin right there, man.
Ignatius.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask him about his album. Everybody's talking about your album, your new album. How's it going?
The album is hard, man.
It's going good. It's the first time I ever did a dedication album. I lost my brother Pick. He passed from colon cancer.
R.I.P. Ice Pick, man.
With us having 4 juice bars, Juices for Life, and with Styles and his wife having Pharmacy for Life, is really all coming in, one big circle of how you got to keep your immune system strong for this virus going around. You should just want to put life into your body anyway when it ain't a virus or a pandemic, just so you could live. We got so many family members with cancer and diabetes and high blood pressure and things of that nature. We just trying to promote health awareness in the hoods. And Pick, before he died, he was very adamant about me working out, changing my diet, taking my vitamins and probiotics. And it's just like he was giving me a bunch of signs. Like he knew he was fighting with colon cancer, but he didn't want me to know. And he tried to put me on the right path before he started his battle. And I just felt like I owed something to him. So I did a project in his name. The cover, the artwork cover is going to get raffled off and donated to his kids. Just felt like a honorable thing to do from where I'm from.
Right. Question. Let me ask a question. And this is actually.
Wait, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
My man.
Jadakiss, let me ask you a question. This is actually to the room as well, because y'all have a juice bar. Do you think people will shift and become, again, this in terms of their dieting, in terms of, again, like you're saying, I'm taking sea moss, I'm taking black seed, I'm taking multivitamins, I'm taking everything right now. I'm talking about literally everything. Do you think that people will shift? Like what percentage of the community do you think will flip over and really start juicing, things like that, be more conscious?
I think a nice percentage right now in the juice bar is a sad thing that during the pandemic business is up.
Yeah.
But it always takes a situation to happen for people to get on board to certain things, especially like health, as far as health wise. But I think it'll be a nice shift. People's coming in every day for their ginger, lime and ginger shots, the vitamin C shots, they all type of juices. So hopefully they ain't just doing it until they say this thing is over, because you still want to live anyway, so you still got to take care of yourself.
No, I think they'd be more conscious about the building the immune system. It means more now. We used to hear it all the time, but now building your immune system up, it's like now people are going to make an investment into it. In terms of that.
Definitely.
Sea moss, gold, juice bars, you know what I mean? Black tea, all that stuff is going to go through the roof. Like literally, through the roof. Do y'all agree?
Yeah. I mean, I think hopefully on the back side of this, as Jada said, people will continue to kind of do it. I'm getting into it. My lady's getting me into the juice and stuff. I'm a bit of a stoner, so we taking it the Kid and Blaze route. Just on that. So we just
no doubt.
Yeah, we're just trying to do. We're just trying to do whatever we can do. I mean, and keep it moving forward. Even though we can't quite see the. Oh my goodness! Even though I don't know, does anybody get worried that we haven't really seen the light at the end of the tunnel yet? Like,
I am.
I
am. They open up Atlanta. They telling them, everybody just go, and they say in Georgia, but it's Atlanta. And they telling them go to it makes no sense from a financial thing, because barbershops, nail salon, those are the places. I know barbers, like, they're not declaring their tax. You don't know how much a barber's making. So the money is not, it's not rolling over. And I do understand it in terms from them. It's like, let's see who gets sick, who runs out there. It's like they tell somebody in the bigger, the bigger picture, but they sending other mixed messages to their constituents and stuff. So I'm like, you know, everybody I know in Atlanta, I've been texting and calling. I'm like, I hope you guys are staying home. They like,
stay down.
Yeah, what are y'all hearing from y'all people in Atlanta? What are y'all hearing?
They're not going out. Nobody's going to no.
Nobody's going out.
No. You know Lid, Mack from Philly, the barber out there that cut everybody. Yeah. I called him directly. I'm like, Lid, I know you not. He said, I'm not cutting nobody. Yo, he's not doing that. You know. Wow.
Yo, can I say, because we're so suspicious of the information or the misinformation, like if they do come up with a vaccine, like, you know, who would be the first to take it? I mean, would you trust them with the information that we've been getting to this point, or the misinformation? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know how you trust it, even if it's positive news.
What are y'all doing as artists and performers? What are y'all doing? Like literally, like the first day we really clear as a country. What are y'all doing? What's your first day out? What are you doing?
It's like the iPhones. You gotta you can't go. You can't get the first batch. You know what I mean?
The first 6 months, right? Get all the glitches out.
You gotta see what's going on, man.
Y'all prepared to stay in for another 6 months?
I'm prepared to stay in as long as my family is gonna be good.
And as long as they stay, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got to.
And that's the problem.
What'd you say?
I said, looks like you ready to leave out tomorrow. But what do you think? What's your thought?
I'm going to an island or something. I'm not staying here.
But it's all over the world, though. It's not just.
But you got to take your chances with what make you happy.
See?
That's terrible.
Nah, but on the side though, for real, right now, I've definitely been keeping my immune system all the way up. I'm talking about turmeric, ginger, garlic, everything, vitamin C, staying on point and putting my family onto that. We staying inside, staying quarantined. My only movements for real is with family. I go see my dad, I go see my grandmother, my brothers, that's it. But as far as like staying in and being in here, I ain't trying to stay in too much longer. I hope, you know, they let it up.
You know, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead,
my prediction is this. It's not going. Y'all can just forget 2020 because what's going to happen? What's going to happen is this, and y'all can quote me on it. We're going to start opening up. We're going to start doing things, and what's going to happen is going to appear like things are going down, but what it is re-exposing the population, and it's going to go back up around July, August, and then come July, August, we're going to be back in this same situation if we don't listen, and it's going to skate out until December, possibly January. So you know, one of the rules in my household, I don't have junk in my house. You know what I'm saying? I start my day every day with a smoothie. I don't have the fried foods. I don't have the sugary foods. I don't have any of those things that could break down your immunity system. So if you start training your household, and this is the perfect example to do that, you start training your household to be that way. You know, when things like this happen, or as this is happening, it's an easier thing. But like I said, I really, really hope that they don't start popping things open just for the sake of economy. Because what we're going to see is a dip, and we're going to see a rise, and that rise is going to just make it extra crazy for us. So you know, I just hope everybody just rides it out.
I believe that and support that 1,000,000,000%. I absolutely feel that way, definitely, because I feel like me personally, I've dealt with it in a percentage base, and I said I think about 40% probably 35% of the population won't conform. They're going to go against it. And that's going to be the reason why it's going to spike through. Because again, even with people that they know that are falling, we feel like individually, I'm saying we're Teflon. And it's not going to happen to me. It didn't happen to me. It happened to my cousin, it happened to my aunt, but it didn't happen to me. And I'm going to take my chances. And that's where we actually going to, you know, suffer at.
Yeah, I'm with Kid. Like, I think black and brown people, if there is a cure, don't take it. We know what happened with syphilis and all these other things that we were guinea pigs on. Yeah. Just stay healthy, Take
Yo,
the vitamin C,
D, I
the
never took a
flaxseed
flu
oil.
shot. Did you ever take a flu shot?
I've never had a flu shot.
I never took a
No.
flu shot. I never used to get the flu, so I never took a flu shot.
I took-
So I'm
I
just
never got
saying.
the vaccination shot.
I took a flu shot one time and got sick 2 weeks later, and
Bang.
I I'd ever been. I'm like, this is, and they say, oh, it's a bit of a, you know, it's what happens when you get the shot, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, but
when we had our first child, we told the nurses we don't want our son to have the cocktail. So when the kid is born and they're 6 pounds, 8 pounds, they give them like measles, mumps, polio, all of this stuff in this little body. And a lot of these bodies can't excrete these metals. And when you get metals in your body, it can alter your brain waves, right? So our second child, I stood in there with him. As soon as he was born, I followed him everywhere. He never left my sight. He gets no shots. We will give him the shots later, one at a time, if need be. But taking these immunization shots, a lot of this stuff they're testing, and they're quietly, casually testing us. You know what I mean? So I don't get involved with that. So if they come out with something, I think black and brown people should just be like, you know what? I'm gonna take my natural herbs. I'm gonna go the slow route and just strengthen my body and my immune system. I'm good.
Right, because vaccines are a weakened strand or strand of the actual disease. So if you take you're actually taking whatever it is that the name of it. So if it was a flu shot, Benny gave you the flu.
Yeah, they gave it to me. Yeah.
Definitely stay away from vaccines. Don't let them put it in the children. Right, Duane. It's too good for that.
Hey, can I not to cut you off, little mama, but I before we wrap anything up, I do want to say this. I know we giving out and sharing information, but at the same time, I want to reach out to all of y'all and tell all of y'all how much I appreciate y'all talent and how part of our job right now is to provide diversion or something lighthearted or something that people can enjoy. You know what I mean? Everybody, I'm fans of all of y'all,
man.
And I lean, on, I've been leaning on y'all, and I'm really leaning on y'all right now, and I hope that. Look, for me personally, I'm just like, well, if my name or image or whatever can we do? And maybe it's about telling people, hey, the real deal stuff you need to do, shit you need to do. But other times, maybe it's just like, yo, man, something funny, something clever, some banging ass beat, something to be like, something, you know what I mean? A Jadakiss beat will make me face the virus with like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, a Benny Boom video gonna make me be like, like, so we're all here and we all have a role, in my opinion. So
that's dope. I want just to piggyback real quick, is I think the time, for me, like when I saw the lineup, I got really excited because I'm looking at the lineup and I said, wow, I know everybody on here in one way, shape, or form. I already told you about Cease and me, living in Brooklyn right over there off their block. And then even with Kiss, like just a couple of weeks ago, I was in the barbershop and and they had like Spotify on, it was all Jadakiss, right? This is before the vibe. So I text Kids, I'm like, yo, remember I hit you? And I'm like, yo, they playing you all through the joint. And there's, and it just to be able to do that, in this climate, to be like, oh, I got Kiss number. Let me just hit him and let him know what the energy is like in the world. And I knew the album was coming out, so I was just trying to throw this affirmation to him. And Lil Mama's not on the screen right now, but we've worked together a couple times. We did All American. I directed her in All American. You know what I mean? And then
Benny.
Huh?
Everybody talking about their show. They just catching up with it on Netflix.
Oh, it's the greatest show. You guys got it. I already trying to plug, but I'm gonna plug that. And then Kwame, Kwame at one point was producing music for my wife and stuff. So it's just like this is a family.
He's scoring shows too. Benny, he can score your films too.
Who's that?
Kwame.
Oh, come on, I already know that. And Duane, let me tell you something. The first, just real quick, the first big like backyard party I ever went to in LA was at Duane's crib. I was with John Brown and those guys, and Compton and Cohen and all of them from we was back there, man. And he just, Duane didn't know me from anything, you know what I mean? And he just treated me just so gracious, and it was like family.
So what you miss is those zen out in the back, brotherly love session in the back. You know what I mean? That's what you miss.
No, I went by Zen. I went by Zen a couple times.
And it was that mood. That mood was right?
It was dope.
That mood right.
Yeah, I went.
Mama, did you ever experience that, did you, Mama?
You say what?
I said, did you ever experience that Zen kind of like?
You know, I went to the Zen lounge. Duane, tell him. Duane, tell him how many times I popped up. Enough time.
You used to fall through. I wanted to say the kid touched on something. It's like why do I found out my purpose in life a long time ago. Like, my job is to protect athletes and entertainers. Like, from going to NYU, from being a sports agent to producing films to being an actor. Like artists are the most important people in the world. Like, without a song, that's the soundtrack to your life, without a movie, like without going to a sporting event where people come together of all different shapes and sizes and colors, it's like, what would be happening in the world? The world would be at war if they didn't have these outlets, right? And for me, I'm like, we're big beings. When you introduce yourself to the world, and it's like a fucking comet, man. Like, everybody on here has made an impact, and it's huge. And like, when you watch shows like Unsung, shit like that, and you see this rise, and then the second half hour, god damn it, they're gonna fall. Right?
Yeah. I had one of them.
It's fucking equally
you go up, you come
as
down.
impactful.
Then you go back up.
Right? Yeah. But what people forget, like, kid, what you've done, fucking Kiss, Mama, Cease. I used to call Cease Black Caesar. That was my name for you, Black Caesar. It was like fucking Benny, like KWAME, dog. It's not a fucking mistake.
No doubt.
You can reinvent that. Like, there's ebbs and flows. It's the people that don't come back, they die or they quit. And man, we're all here. We've all been around in the 90s, and we're equipped for this kind of shit.
No doubt.
Everybody on here is self-made. Everybody on here made something from nothing.
That's right. And we grew up with
that's what we all have in common. A fucking beat, a giant 45 and a mic. We didn't need fucking Def Jam. We didn't need none of these motherfuckers to come in and say, hey, you use my platform, I'll take you around the world. That's cool. We know how to make this at home. And our kids are in trouble because, they know technology, but can they make a fucking song from a grain of salt? Can they make a movie from a grain of salt? They can't do it. There's a skill set that everybody has here that you can continue doing what you're doing because you produce it from here, from inside out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Benny Boom, I'm really excited for Benny Boom because, this industry is changing where there used to be a lot of directors out here that could only direct. They couldn't make a fucking budget of $25,000 look like $1 million. They need that kind of management on the set every day to put these shows out. So as you can see, the Chris Robinsons, all these guys are sitting on the lot. They're sitting as executive producers of these shows now, and they're like watching all these new directors come through, directing traffic, but making sure that the product is consistent. And you have that skill set, and it's like the best is yet to come from you.
Thank you.
Everybody on here, I respect, man.
Hey, Shay, listen, I want to thank y'all all for coming and joining on tonight. Listen, it went really, really quick. You know what I mean? But I want to thank you all. I want to thank you, Shake. I want to thank you, Kiss. I want to thank you, Mama. You, Kid. You, Benny. Where's my man? Where's my man? Where Lil Cease at?
Let's do it again. We got more to talk about.
We'll definitely do it again. But listen, we're going to jump through Jadakiss video.
Here we go.
Hard.
Yes.